History unfolds today on Capitol Hill as the public impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump gets underway. Two career diplomats, acting U.S. Ambassador to the Ukraine, Bill Taylor, and the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, George Kent, are testifying about their knowledge of the whistleblower complaint that sparked the impeachment inquiry. Kent testified that the efforts of a smear campaign by the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, hampered U.S. policy efforts in the Ukraine.
In mid-August, it became clear to me that Giuliani's efforts to gin up politically motivated investigations were now infecting U.S. engagement with Ukraine, leveraging President Zelensky's desire for a White House meeting.
Ambassador Taylor testified that security systems aid to Ukraine was being withheld until Zelensky publicly called for an investigation into Hunter Biden and the 2016 campaign.
The message to the Ukrainians and the Russians we send with the decision on security assistance is key. With the hold, we have already shaken their faith in us. I also said I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with the political campaign.
President Trump is meeting with the president of Turkey today and says he has not been watching the hearings.
I did not watch it. I'm too busy to watch it. It's a witch hunt. It's a hoax. I'm too busy to watch it. So I'm sure I'll get a report.
The hearing wrapped up just moments ago after Kent and Taylor testified for more than 5 hours Wednesday. Next up is the former U.S. Ambassador to the Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, who is scheduled to testify on Friday. House Intelligence Chair Adam Schiff says today's hearings prove that the president sought to advance his political and personal gain at the expense of our national security. But Republican Representative Jim Jordan painted a different picture, calling it a sad day for our country. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Sarah Pritchard. With the first of today's hearings over, members of the House Intelligence Committee still have a long week ahead. Jennifer Williams, a foreign policy aide to Vice President Mike Pence, and Alexander Vindman, Ukraine expert for the National Security Council, both testified Tuesday morning about their knowledge of the July 25th phone call between President Trump and Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky.
I thought that the references to specific individuals and investigations, such as former Vice President Biden and his son, struck me as political in nature, given that the former Vice President is a political opponent of the president.
Vindman used his opening statement to defend his reason for reporting the phone call.
When I reported my concerns on July 10th relating to Ambassador Sondland, and then July 25th relating to the president, I did so out of a sense of duty. My intent was to raise these concerns because they had significant national security implications for our country.
Both Vindman and Williams were on the July 25th phone call, as was Tim Morrison, a National Security Council staffer who is testifying later today. Also testifying today is Ukraine advisor Kurt Volker. Despite the drama unfolding in the nation's capital, some students at the University of South Carolina don't seem to be paying attention.
I don't know too much about it, but I've heard about that, definitely. It's pretty interesting, I think. I should definitely look into it.
I have heard some things, but I don't pay attention to them. I've been real busy with school and all that, and it's just really, it doesn't interest me that much.
And they don't seem to be alone. According to Business Insider, only 13 million Americans tuned in to watch day one of the hearings. To put that in perspective, testimony from former FBI Director James Comey received close to 20 million viewers in June 2017. Morrison and Volker are giving their testimony right now, but the real show will be tomorrow when the U.S. Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, is scheduled to appear at 9 a.m. You can expect Democratic members of the Intelligence Committee to be especially tough on Sondland since his testimony during the closed-door hearings has often contradicted that of other witnesses. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Sarah Pritchard. Today marks the final day of scheduled public hearings in the impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump. Senior policy and political advisor in Ukraine, David Holmes, confirmed that the president would not agree to a White House visit with President Zelensky until he agreed to investigate political rival Joe Biden and his son.
It was made clear that some action on Burisma Biden investigation was a precondition for an Oval Office visit.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by the former vice president. In her opening statement, top advisor on the National Security Council, Fiona Hill, warns that the Russians are preparing to interfere in U.S. elections again in 2020.
Some of you on this committee appear to believe that Russia and its security services did not conduct a campaign against our country, and that perhaps, somehow, for some reason, Ukraine did. This is a fictional narrative that has been perpetrated and propagated by the Russian security services themselves.
Holmes also testified about a phone call he overheard during lunch between President Trump and Ambassador Sondland. Holmes says when he asked Sondland about the call, the ambassador confirmed that the president did not care about the Ukraine, but rather the investigations.
Ambassador Sondland stated that the president only cares about big stuff. I noted there was big stuff going on in Ukraine, like a war with Russia. And Ambassador Sondland replied that he meant big stuff that benefits the president, like the Biden investigation that Mr. Giuliani was pushing.
The hearings have just wrapped up for the day, but after 7 separate hearings over 5 full days of public testimony, there are no more scheduled hearings, and House Democrats have some decisions to make. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff says Democrats will decide in the coming days what the response will be. If they conclude their investigation, it will go to the Judiciary Committee, which could then decide to draw up articles of impeachment. All they need is a simple majority to pass the articles and bring them to a full House vote on whether or not to impeach the president. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Sarah Pritchard.